So my name's Tom Parsons. I own wetlands, about 30 acres of wetlands in Mason County, Michigan.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about how this place looked when you first started going there?
So when I first started going as a child and as a young adult. The underbrush was so thick you couldn't get through it. You couldn't even crawl underneath the bushes. My grandfather cut trails through it and laid down drop felled trees to get across the water parts, but there were some openings, about three of them with soft maple that created open space. Other than that, there was no place to walk in on the interior of the property. Over the years, did you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Over the years, that underbrush lacking sunlight, and it grew up, and now you can walk across the entire property. You can see almost from one side to the other because most of that understory has either grown up and died, or the small trees have become large, and now there's large groves of cherry and maple and oak within the interior of the property.
Did you notice changes in uh, the inhabitants of the swamp, in either like number or like where they were around the property?
So the deer used to go, actually would cut through on the trails that we had cut, as they moved from the north property to the north of us to the property to the south of us,
Hmm.
highlands to the north and farm field to the south. And they would stage, and they would be there all day long sometimes. So they would bed down in different places on the property. Some would move to the northern property, was higher, and they would bed there. But there was always deer on the property when there was so much understory. Now they just use it as a pass through, so there's hardly any deer that stay on those acres.
Hmm.
Most of them really do go off to that property on the north and just travel through our property. Um, there were more rabbits when there was more thickets in there. There was same about amount of squirrels.
Hmm.
Partridges used to live on the property. I hadn't seen a partridge there in a long time. The number of waterfalls seems to be about the same. It fluctuates with the water level. Some years it's really wet, some years and there's open water. Some years there aren't.
Hmm.
There's beaver that live on the southern, just to the south of us. They built a dam on our property, and their population ebbs and flows. They eat most of the bigger trees right in the area. They have to go farther and farther, and sometimes some years we don't see any sign of them. Some years there's quite a few beaver.
Okay. Um, has the way that you've changed, or has the way that you've used the property changed very much over time?
So access to the property got a lot easier as that understory died, so we actually could access it quite a bit more on high water years than without that understory. That would flood more of the property because there was less vegetation to soak up that water. We could actually take the canoe, put a canoe in there, and go around in different parts of the property. Um, we hunted that property for a really long time. The way we hunt that has changed because we used to be able to push through and kick out deer, or we'd hunt some of those open stands of maples. But now they've truly changed their pattern depending on from year to year. They're not as predictable anymore.
Okay, well, I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay.